Before. My name is Latoya Likambi. I'm a teen entrepreneur, so I'm 19 to be exact. I've got year 13 here, or is it year 13 and year 12?
Year 12.
Oh, year 12, okay. So I was in year 12 not long ago. I'm in my first year of uni. So yeah, I said I'm a teen entrepreneur. I have a couple of businesses. I have a skincare store which specializes in 100% organic and cold pressed skincare. That's called Tazai Skincare, and that's over in Liverpool. I also am the editor of Thrive magazine and founder of Thrive Media, and that's all about positive media distribution to inspire and empower young people. I'm a 3 times best-selling author. I have published 3 books, and I have them right here in front of me. So the first book I published was short stories by Latoya Likambi, and then I went on to write a series called Casey's Diary, and I'm an award-winning public speaker. You'll soon get to know I love speaking, hence why I'm here today. I am also in the personal development niche or area, so I do a lot of personal development work, whether that's on short-form content on TikTok and Reels or YouTube. So I love inspiring and empowering people, whether it's on self-confidence, self-esteem, personal growth, mindset development, all of that. And I'm also a digital marketing executive. So I am a degree apprentice. I'm in my first year of uni. I study digital marketing. And what a degree apprenticeship is basically you study for your degree and you work at the same time. So at the end of the 3 years, you get your degree, you get good experience, and basically you get free education, and then you also get paid to work as well. And then, fun fact, I am a side quester. I love a good side quest. I usually say I'm a professional side quester, and I don't just mean like, oh yeah, let's go and get a Mackey's side quest. I mean, usually when we were in, especially during sixth form, don't really advise, but at the time when I was getting ready for mocks and stuff like that, I'd be on Eventbrite and I'd be looking up events. I remember at a specific time when I was doing my GCSEs and I was 16, instead of stressing about my GCSEs, I was stressing about editing a magazine. So that's the type of side quests that I do. Don't recommend if you want to open up your results on results day and be like, yeah. So obviously side questing is good, but your main priority, your studies, of course. So my background, I started my journey as an author at the age of 7. That's when I wrote my first book. Then I started my speaking and being a mentor at the age of 10. And I got into that after I published my first book. I started speaking engagements. I started interviews, and that's how I got into public speaking. And honestly, I've come such a long way from that. You probably wouldn't be able to tell, but I used to read off of my phone. I used to get the chills before speaking and all that type of stuff. I also started my business journey at the age of 13, and that is when I was gifted a Christmas gift actually. And I started, it was a make your own cosmetics set, and then I decided to go on from that and create my business. And then I went on to open a physical skincare store in Liverpool at the age of 15. And more importantly and overall, I'm someone that started before I felt ready. I never actually felt ready, I just started. I never felt young enough, I never felt not ready enough, I just started. And that's one of the main messages and things that something I'm here to talk to you today about. So, I have a few warm-up questions. I do a lot on personal development, so we're going to be doing a lot of thinking. I want you guys to think. It's not awkward, just asking questions. So, question 1, and can I have a show of hands for this? Basically, this is how we're going to demonstrate the questions, and I won't actually ask you personally, but who here already knows that they're a leader? No one knows if they're a leader? I see a hand.
That's good.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine. And the next question, I actually want you to say a little bit more. So, when you hear the word leader, what comes to mind? Yeah?
Someone who knows who will be able to help you.
Yeah. Okay. Any others? When you hear the word leader, what comes to mind?
Someone with a new idea.
Someone with a new idea. Any more? One more. I'll take one more. That's okay. And for this one, I just want you to think, and what we're going to do is, if you pick 1, you're going to raise your left hand, and if you pick 2, you're going to raise your right hand. Do you think leadership is about a title or influence? So influence means like the impact or the influence you have. So if you think leadership is about a title, then you'd raise your left hand. If you think it's about the influence, raise your right hand.
Everybody raise your hand. What do you think?
Does anyone want to share why they think whether it's a leadership, it's about the title or the influence? That's okay. It's just a thinking exercise. But just as I'm asking you these questions, just do a lot of thinking. So, the power of purpose. This is how leadership begins. It begins with purpose. So I'm going to explain to you how to actually find your purpose and then how you can go on to live that out. So I'm a marketing student, as I said before, and I also did business. So popularly, when we study business, we have like the 4 Ps, and then going on to uni, you have the 7 Ps. Any business students in here? Yeah? So you know about the 4 Ps, right? So I have something that I call the 3 Ps. And the 3 Ps are passion, purpose, and priorities. So what is your passion? Starting with your passion is something that you can't go a day without thinking about. And I'm not just talking about, I don't know, favorite food or singer or whatever. This is something that you are genuinely passionate about, something that you see in the long term of your future. And a passion usually relates to your childhood, whether that's your childhood focus, your childhood hobbies, your childhood talents, natural gifts, things that came to you naturally. For example, one of my passions was speaking. I always got told I was talkative. I was always the kid that got moved away from another kid in the classroom, then to just go on and speak to the other kid I got moved next to. And that has portrayed in my career because now it's a part of what I do. I speak. I literally just had my first international speaking engagement last month. So your passion is got to do with a gift or something that comes to you naturally, or your strength, you could say, something that you're naturally and almost effortlessly good at. Next, your passion reveals both your strengths and your weaknesses. So this can be a good thing and this can be a bad thing because obviously it reveals your weaknesses, but then again, it gives you time for reflection, gives you time to build, and that's all about what personal development is. It's about reflecting, building, changing. So, for example, take me, my strengths, speaking, engaging. Naturally, I love being talkative, having conversations with people. Another strength of mine, I'm very entrepreneurial. So if I have an idea, I love to just get that down on paper and execute it as soon as possible. But a weakness that comes with it is that because I am that type of person, I wouldn't be the good person to argue with. So I remember when I was in secondary school, I did used to get into a lot of arguments, and I'd be the type of person where if an argument was to end and someone gives you well, that's what I thought, I'd be going for round 2. But you have to, over time you reflect on that and you build on that. And then for me, it came with maturity. It came with, protecting your peace and whatnot. Another weakness I spoke about. I told you about how I love to go on different side quests, different endeavors. I'm also a productive procrastinator. So because of what I do, being a student as well, one of my main priorities is obviously uni. When it was in sixth form, it was A-levels, and when I was in secondary school, should have been my GCSEs. However, because I was so entrepreneurial, I tended to put my career first. So sometimes when I'd have mocks coming up, I'd have exams coming up, I'd study, I'd get my deadlines in, but I'd do it the night before. Or I'd often find myself rushing and giving things in last minute because I'm over here thinking about, oh, I really want to speak at this event, or I really want to go and interview so-and-so here, or I really want to film this YouTube video. And that's my passion, but it's all about finding the right place, the right time, etc. Next, moving on, the second P is purpose. So your purpose is all about what you were put on this earth to do. Purpose is a big thing, always comes up. Everyone's talking about what we were put here to do. I don't know my purpose, so-and-so, how do I find my purpose? Your purpose should naturally align with your passions. So, for example, my passions, like I spoke to you about, was speaking. My purpose is to empower young people. So naturally, because I'm so entrepreneurial, if I ever had any friend and I saw, you're good at this, you could turn this into a business. If I had a friend that was good at doing hair, I'd be like, why aren't you a hairstylist? If I had a friend that was naturally talkative like myself, I'd be like, you can make money from this. That is just my natural tendency. And of course, it's not meant for everybody, but it just shows in my personality. So that's how my purpose naturally aligns with my passion. your purpose is also multifaceted and it's not a monolith. And what that means is that you don't have one straight direct purpose. You're not here to just do one thing. You're here to do a variety of things. So I'm here to empower young people. I'm here to serve. I'm here to do a bunch of other things. And I spoke about how when it doesn't matter what you do that through, as long as you get that done, you get that done. For example, when I was younger, before I started my skincare brand, which is Tay's Eye Skincare, I wanted that to be a clothing line. I was really into fashion. I still am, but I was really more going down the route of being a designer, fashion designer specifically. And I turned that into a skincare brand. And now I've gone down a different route, but it doesn't matter what route I go down. The moral of what I'm saying is that I am still serving. So it doesn't matter how you're doing it. Of course, it kind of does. But essentially what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter what path you take, as long as you're at the core serving how you're supposed to serve, then you're fulfilling your purpose. Next, once your purpose is specifically identified, it should be maximized and lived out. So how to feel fulfilled with your life is if you know you're living out your purpose every single day. So what I do is, if I know I've had a productive day, if I've reached out to this many brands, or if I've reached out to an influencer to send them a PR package, that is because it aligns with my purpose. It aligns not just because I want to say, oh, I've done this just to do this, but it's because it aligns with the greater goal of what I want to do in the future. Or I know that if I speak to all of you today, that's a part of my purpose, because it doesn't matter whether it's 100 people, whether it's 2 people, whether it's a person on the side of the street, whether it's someone in the bus, I know that that plays a part in my purpose because I'm here to serve. And the next P, which is super, super important, just as important as them all, are priorities. Because once you find your passion, you're able to find your purpose. And what your purpose does is it guides your priorities. And a lot of the times we don't have our priorities straight. And the reason why people say you don't have your priorities straight is because your purpose and your passion has not yet been found. So you can't have straight priorities without having a set passion, without identifying that, and without also knowing your purpose. So your priorities are the systems that you set up in your life, and they essentially predict your future. What I do every single day will be, a testimony to what I become in the future. What I did when I first started has helped me become who I am today. So your priorities are about the small tasks. They consist of tasks that make up your day-to-day routine. And sometimes they're super overlooked because we look at the big picture. For example, when New Year's comes, everyone wants to make a vision board, everyone wants to look at the huge goals, everyone wants to go on Pinterest, but you're forgetting about the priorities, which are the daily tasks, which are the things that you should be doing in your day-to-day routine, which actually build that up and which actually decide whether you make those goals or you break those goals. And as I said before, so your priorities should be guided by your purpose, which is also rooted in your passion. So the problem with young leaders, us, and finding our purpose is that we have a lot of distractions available to us. So oftentimes when I'm speaking to, whether it be my friends or just people within our age group, one thing that comes up a lot is that I'm still finding my purpose, or I'm on a finding myself journey. And that's true. We can still be on a finding ourselves journey. As I said before, your purpose is not a monolith. It's very, very broad. It's very wide. You have, to serve in multiple areas. However, if we're being honest, super, super honest within ourselves, and we're doing a lot of deep self-reflection, I like to ask these questions. Are you really finding yourself, or are you just too distracted? Are you really on a finding yourself journey, or you just have too much around you? Are you really trying to find your purpose, or are you just not focused enough? Are you really manifesting or, attracting the dream life that you say you want? Or are you just too lazy and just doing things for the plot or winging it, And oftentimes when I hear people say, well, I'm finding my purpose, I think your purpose is already within you. If you just block out all the noise and the distractions, then you'll be able to find that purpose. It aligns with your priorities, like I said before. It dictates your priorities, but your purpose aligns with your passions. And most of the times, those passions came straight from your childhood, whether that was what you like to do, whether that was your natural gift. So you already have that inside of you. Your purpose is something that's internal. It's not like you're going on a journey out there to go and find your purpose. Or what people say is, oh, well, I'm in this experimenting phase. I'm experimenting to find out my purpose. But it's intrinsic. It's something that's internal. So what you need to do to be able to find that purpose is reflection. It's not about what my friends are doing. It's not about everyone around you. It's not about, oh, what's happening here on social media. It's something that's inside of you. So at the end of the day, you won't be able to escape from, the responsibility of your own life and the accountability that you must take for your own actions. And what your life is it is a direct example and reflection of how serious you are about fulfilling your purpose. So again, I'm going to ask a question. No hands, just think. If your life was being recorded like a reality TV show or a movie, and you were watching and you had to watch every single scene, and you were watching how you live, how you spend your spare time, would you be proud? It's just an internal question, just to think for a second. If your life was, a reality TV show, or if you were supposed to, observe your own life from a broader perspective, say your life is in this bubble and you're outside that bubble, and you were supposed to view yourself from the outside, would you think, or if it was someone else, would you think that person would be proud? Would you think that person would think that you are maximizing your own potential, or would you think that you're not doing enough? It's just food for thought. So you need to start challenging yourself, and this is how you actually step into leadership, because a lot of the times we think leadership is about being well connected, it's about your experience, it's about your age, but leadership really starts from within. So you've got to ask yourself the hard questions, and that's exactly what I've been doing. This is why I'm getting you to think, I'm getting you to answer these questions and ask yourself these questions. You've got to do the deep self-reflection. You've got to write out your flaws and your strengths, whether it be mentally. I prefer to do that actually on paper. So I do a lot of journaling, and oftentimes I do a lot of self-reflection, because when you write it down and you write down your strengths, you write down your weaknesses, or when you actually reflect and you speak it aloud, you've solved half of the problem that you're looking at already, or you've already created half of the solution. And you've got to also consider constructive criticism from those who are of your best interest. Oftentimes we get really offended sometimes, or we get super self-defensive. But however, we forget that people who are of our best interest, they want the best for us, whether it be your mate, whether it be your mom, your dad, your teacher. Especially at this, at this phase, we want to think that I know what's best for me. Sometimes other people from an outside perspective who are self-observant and they can see things from the outside are better. And it's better for you to take criticism from them because they can see you from an outside perspective. And there's a way that you can kind of decipher whether that person is just straight up, dragging you down, or if they're actually giving you constructive criticism. If a person is giving you constructive criticism, it should allow you to think in your spare time, like, oh wait, maybe I am in the wrong. Maybe it's not just everyone else, maybe it actually is me. And if someone is just there to just drag you down, then it's quite obvious sometimes, but then at the same time, you can know if someone has your best interest at heart, because they're really doing this because they want the best for you. So the first step to challenging yourself comes with asking yourself, why can't I seem to find my purpose or live in it? And you start this by questioning and by thinking about what you're most distracted by, whether it's a person, social media, screen time, a relationship, or even your own mind. So the biggest distraction that we have, obviously, is social media. I think everybody knows this by now. You've probably been nagged down by your parents, teachers, whatever. And it probably sounds super cliche, but it straight up is said and repeated over and over again because it simply is just true. So on the topic of, distractions and social media, I want you to be completely honest. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Who here is a doom scroller? You're all lying to me right now. Who here is a doom scroller? All of you are doom scrollers. unless some of you don't have social media. I know that some of you, instead of going and doing your revision, you go on TikTok, it's an hour, it turns to 2, to 3, etc. Who here has a screen time? Wait, I don't know if you have your phones on you, or do they?
No,
Oh, okay. Okay. Who here knows that their screen time is terrible? Yeah, I'm seeing nods. Because me too. I'm standing here talking to you guys. Don't think that I'm telling you off. Me too. My screen time is like awful. Another distraction.
Let's be honest.
And I know we talk about this, you're in year 12, everyone thinks that, okay, we're grown now, we're mature, we're experiencing and this, that, the other. Relationships, it can be a person. It can literally be a person. And you know what? Hate is a very strong word, but another word that I don't like using, this whole situationship thing. And I'm seeing some faces, but sometimes it can be things like that. The majority of the time we think, okay, yeah, I'm in this phase now where I'm making decisions for myself, I'm grown, I'm this, I'm that, the other, and you don't know that that's the thing that's pulling you back the most. And on top of that, no one's going to tell you this. Your teachers probably won't tell you this, your parents probably won't tell you this, worst of all, your friends definitely won't tell you this. 90% of the time, whatever it is, the relationship, the situationship, it's not going to last. Some of you are even there, you're thinking, no, but this is my for lifer though, and this, that, the other. I'm telling you right now, as someone I'm literally only in the start of uni, I'm only a first year student, but I've been through the phases, been there, done that, seen it, secondary, high, especially sixth form, that was the worst. I didn't go to a sixth form, so I went to a sixth form college, so it was just us college students, but honestly, it was a madness. And when I was telling people this, I sounded like their mom and their auntie, but I was always right at the end of the day. So you look down the line, you're just supposed to ask yourself these questions, like, is this really worth it? Why am I in this? What am I getting out of this? What is the person getting out of this? Are they distracting me from reaching my purpose, my goals, my potentials? And just be real with yourself, even your friends, because your friends, honestly, they won't tell you. Your friends will be sitting there being like, oh, you are so cute, this, that, the other. And then the minute it goes wrong, they're like, girl, you were too good for him anyway. So why didn't she tell you before? So it's stuff like that. It's just about thinking, doing a lot of internal reflection. And the distraction could even be your own mind. Whether it be imposter syndrome, thinking you're not good enough. Whether it be not being able to actually have that, peace of mind or self and just sit there and reflect. Some of you are afraid of your own thoughts. It sounds like, what? How can I be afraid of my own thoughts? But it's true. Some of us think we find awkward in silence. We find awkward in self-reflection. We don't want to do any of that. We're so in tune with the distractions and the noise that when there comes a period of silence, we think, oh, this is so awkward. But sometimes that pause and that silence is necessary and it's needed. Sometimes the self-reflection, the challenging yourself and asking yourself these questions, it's needed. Because if you don't do that, nobody else is going to come along and do it for you. And if somebody does reflect and give you that constructive criticism, you're going to mistake that and you're going to think, oh, this person is just like coming for me. But they're not. You just haven't had the time to do your own self-reflection. So the second step to challenging yourself is thinking, what can I actually do about this? It's about being solution focused. So you've identified the issue, which means you've already done half the work. Next, it's about what can I actually do about this? So what can I do about what I'm most distracted by? If it's my friends, do I need to, surround myself with different types of people? If it's a situationship or a relationship, do I need to cut this person off? Hints, yeah, you do. If it's social media or screen time, do I need to be spending less time? Well, not even that. You can use that to your advantage. Is there something good I can be getting out of this? Should I be creating more than I'm consuming? Or is there a way that I can turn this into something that can benefit me? Could I make money from social media rather than just sitting there and consuming? If it's your own mind, think about it. What can I do to better myself as a person? Do a lot of journaling, a lot of self-reflection. And then the third step is, what do I need to do now and how do I start? So this is where all of the action comes, because you can do a lot of self-reflection. You can be as self-aware as you want, but if you're not taking the action, you're just as bad as the person who isn't self-aware either. So what am I going to do differently now? And what systems should I now put in place which can get me from place A to place B? The system, when I say systems as well, that basically just means routines. So what daily routine can I set up? What can I be doing monthly that can help me get from place A to place B? And what I'm going to talk about now is what I personally recommend and what I do if I started fresh. So if I was in your shoes, and I know you've been in year 12 for a while now because it's coming towards the end of your journey in year 12, but now you're going on to year 13 and soon you'll be going to uni, so or whatever you go on to do, whether it's work, you'll be starting afresh soon. So the first thing I would do if I started afresh would be to overcome fear of missing out. Everyone's heard the term FOMO, right? Whether it be, I don't know, FOMO from a friend group, FOMO from going out, FOMO from this, that, the other. The thing about FOMO, honestly, we've hyped it up, it's not all that. Half of the times, these things are so temporary and so in the moment that in a couple weeks, it's, you're gonna forget about it. The thing about FOMO as well is that we hype up certain experiences so much. For example, this, I don't know, when I first started high school, it was like the whole high school party experience because my don't get me wrong, I still do like parties, but my sixth form was a sixth form college, so it was different because it was like there was no secondary school students, so it was like every week different themes and different parties, and half the time I'm coming back and I'm hearing stories and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that I missed out on that, because half of the stories you've got now, it's like, oh, now you don't want to go out because you don't want to see this person, or now you have to avoid so and so, or now you've got a horrible story about what happened when, you went mentally your best. So overcoming FOMO is one of them. The next thing I'd recommend is, honestly, it's something that a lot of us won't want to do, but skip the high school sweetheart experience and the uni sweetheart phase. It's a phase. I know everyone's telling you it's just a phase. It is just a phase. Everyone tells you that because it seriously just is a phase. It will pass. It's a phase. And it's genuinely not all that it's hyped up to be. The next thing I do, if I started afresh, well, I did do this, but this is what I'm recommending, is to start a business, start a program or a project. And if you're not business oriented, that's fine. Just start a project, start something outside of school that either makes you money or that you can build a skill from. Build a skill that you can get up and you can, you can elevate it to a point where you can be paid for that. Something outside of school so that you can have, a passion elsewhere. Or sometimes if you need to take your mind off things rather than go into like a specific person or a specific place, you can put that energy into a project. And the best time to start that is when you're young. People say, I'm going to wait till this, I'm going to wait till uni, blah, blah, blah. The world keeps revolving. And whilst you're waiting, everyone else out there is building. I'm sure we've seen right now, everybody wants to be an influencer. If social media is your thing and you're sat here saying, I want to wait till the right time and the right place, it's becoming more saturated. If you're saying, I want to wait, I don't think I should do nails yet, or this, that, the other, I'm going to wait till uni to do YouTube, or this, that, the other. Everyone around you in the meantime is building. Everyone around you is making a name for themselves. Everyone around you in the meantime is making money from their passion. So the longer you wait, the more of a disservice you're doing to yourself. And it's true, you can start anytime. People's journeys are different. People start when they're 30, when they're 40, and that's okay. But I'm saying to you, if you have the opportunity to start now. What are you waiting for? And if you're waiting until, I don't know, I have this amount of experience, I'm waiting until I glow up, I'm waiting till I have all of this equipment, you're also doing yourself a disservice. The beauty about starting when you're not ready is that when you do get to a point where you've elevated, you can look back at yourself and you can say, look at where I've come from. The next thing I'd recommend is prioritizing your health. So there's 3 types of health. There's your physical, your mental, and your spiritual. So physical, this is one thing that I actually think Gen Z is really good at, because we've got, a lot of different sports obsessed people. So the first thing I do if I started afresh and I started in year 12 over again is really prioritize my physical health. So whether that's in the gym, whether that's running, whether that's Pilates, whatever works best for you, go for it. You're young once, right? And I'm sure you've heard many times from people much older that, oh, I wish I could look like that again. So if you can build your health now and, you know, elevate the way you look as well, because that also plays a big part in, you know, your opportunities and how you're treated later on. Invest in that now. And you're doing it for you as well. Your intention matters. So you're not just doing it for, you know, a certain amount of people or social media or whatever. You're doing it for you. Your next is your mental. So whether that comes with practicing to, you know, not necessarily, I don't like the phrase protect your peace, because if you are truly in a state of peace, there'd be nothing to protect, because you know you've mastered that. So I'd say mastering peace, whatever it is, protect your mental health as well. If you need a day off, take the day off. Don't push yourself to the edge to burn out. You're really, really young at this stage. Protecting your mental health in an era and in a place where so many people struggle with various mental health issues is so, so important. And the next, spiritual. I don't know what you believe, but personally I'm a Christian. So for me, prioritizing my spiritual health means that I'm surrounding myself with people with a similar faith. It means that I'm, you know, reading my Bible every now and again, trying my best, because obviously I'm inconsistent at times. It just means practicing the things that I've been taught and, you know, living them out in my day-to-day life. And the last thing that I'd recommend is for you to take risks. And I'm not talking about, you know, like your genuine, oh, I'm a risk taker in this, that, the other, because a lot of people like to use that phrase. What I'm talking about is going big or going home. So a couple weeks ago, a girl came across my For You page, and what she said, a woman actually came across my For You page, and what she said really, really stood out for me. Your age plays a huge part in the risks you can take. And what this woman said is that if you're young, if you have a house to go to at the end of the day, and you have the option to go big or go home, go big always. And that is because you're young. You don't have any proper responsibilities, even though it may seem like it, especially at this age. Oh, I've got this to do, I've got this to do. UCAS, personal statement. You actually still don't have any huge responsibilities yet. You don't have any children. You don't have any, I mean, everyone's stories are different. I don't know that, but you don't have any huge financial responsibilities. So if you have that option to go big or to go home, go for it. If you want to register for an event or for a role or a position or an internship, go for it. You have absolutely nothing to lose. And if you do lose, you've got a home to go back to at the end of the day. And I remember at the time, this really, you know, it stood out to me because I was invited for a leadership conference. This was a youth leadership conference in Amsterdam, and this was my first time, one, traveling solo, first time, two, speaking abroad at an event. So at the time, I had been invited, I think this was around December, and they had told me that I needed to just complete a final form to, you know, finalize everything. And I said before, I mentioned, I'm a productive procrastinator. So I just saw the form out. I was like, yeah, it's December, it's Christmas, I'll do it later. A couple weeks passed, I'll do it later. Then I clicked on the link, I think this was January time, and the conference was coming up in February. The link wasn't working. And instead of reaching out to someone, I was like, well, they've already confirmed my place, so, you know, it's fine, I'll live. And what happened was, because of that lack of communication and because I had put that off, basically, they had taken my place out. And last minute, this was like a whole week before the conference, I literally left it. When I mean last minute, I mean last minute. I mean the conference was in 8 days. I had literally just been paid, and I was like, I need to do something about this. I took the risk. I found the organizer. I literally reached out. I cold emailed. I was like, I really want this opportunity. They said, I'll have to come another time. They said their next summit was in like Malta, and you can come next time. I was like, I have to come to this one. And I reached out, I emailed, I spent days going back and forth, and last minute I sent in a submission, and they told me you can speak, you can come, you can be an international speaker. I took a risk. I took literally the last out of my pay. I had some money in my savings, but like out of my current account, I took the last of my pay, and I literally spent it on a return ticket. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get there, but at least I'm gonna get the flight. And I went there, and the connections that I made were so important, and I just knew that I had to be there. So it's just an example of, if you have the option to go big or to go home, go big always, because at the end of the day, like I said before, you will have a home to return to. So maximizing your purpose and unleashing what I call your creative genius. So your creative genius is a phrase that I always use, and this is something that I believe every single person has inside of them. It just needs to be unleashed, and it can look different for everyone. So this is a framework or a method that I'm going to provide, which has 100% success rate, and I'm literally a living, breathing, and walking proof of this. So the first step is to create your system that works best for you and stick to that. If you need to, experiment with that system, and if you need to try out a different system, completely fine. But once you've found what works, stick to it. Number 2, don't be afraid to switch up. Like I said before, switch up, improve, or restart. That's all what personal development is about. Switching up if it works best for you, improvement always, because there's always room for more improvement and development, or restarting, or rebranding, or whatever you want to call it. Number 3, discipline beats motivation always. So I have a graph, and it literally says motivation looks like this. And that's what motivation looks like. Motivation is a feeling. It's great. It drives you, but it's not sustainable. Your discipline, consistency, and simplicity altogether beats motivation. And one thing I realize is that when successful people go to, whether it's conferences, summits, meetings, and they give advice to people, the first thing that people get irritated about is that, well, you're not giving me practical advice. You're talking all about the mindset, and you're being so cliche. Everyone says consistency is key. It's not cliche advice. The reason why it's repeated over and over and over again, not because it's cliche, but because it simply is true. It's simple, doesn't mean it's easy, but discipline, consistency, and simplicity beats motivation all the time. Take social media, for example. People find a strategy that works for them, or take a business. People find a strategy that works for them. They're disciplined with that strategy, and they're consistent with the strategy. And simply, it turns out to be the best for them, and they win in that. When you overcomplicate things and you're like, I feel motivated, so I'm actually going to do this. Or even when it comes to events like this, sometimes when I meet people, they're like, wow, you've motivated me so much. Fantastic, great. But it's not like you can just pick me up and put me in your pocket all the time. Like, I'm not going to be there to motivate you all the time. Whoever it may be in your life that motivates you isn't going to be there to motivate you all the time. You won't be able to feel motivated all the time. One thing that taught me that is the gym. I've been going to the gym for absolutely, literally years. And I used to base that off motivation all the time. I feel motivated to go on this day, so I'll go this day. And it was so inconsistent. I wasn't seeing the results. It just wasn't working out for me. And a couple months ago, towards the end of last year, I decided, this is the system I'm going to use. I'm going to listen to people who have the results that I want, and I'm not going to go based off motivation, because if I did, then I'm just going to waste my time even more. So I'm going to find the system that works for me, and it's simple. I'm going to make sure the system is very, very simple, and I'm going to be disciplined with that, so I don't base it off of my feelings, or I'm not just going to, watch an edit or watch a movie and feel, oh yeah, I'm so motivated, I'm so inspired. I'm not just going to, turn on an episode of Love Island and be like, she looks fabulous, like, I need to look like that tomorrow. That's what motivation looks like. No, it's about being consistent and disciplined in that. And then also, by doing that, you will realize that your journey, it won't look like this anymore. You'll slowly realize that you'll get your results faster. It will be more efficient for you. And then before you know it, you'll fall in love with the process as well. So it's all about trusting that process whilst you're on the journey. And now measuring your progress, because oftentimes, especially girls, we have a tendency to achieve a lot sometimes, and we overlook what we've achieved. I do that a lot sometimes, and then I sit there and I'm like, I don't feel like I've done too much recently, or I need to do more, which is fantastic because we always have room to improve, but that doesn't mean you should downplay your achievements. So performance goals are a fantastic way to both monitor your progress and to measure your progress. So what I have here is the New Year Better Me Planner. So I actually haven't published a book in a long time because I've went more into the personal development niche. So I have this planner. It's called the New Year Better Me Planner because every single year we say, new year, new me, new goals. We've put, a Birkin bag and a picture of a penthouse in Dubai on your vision board. And it's like, let's be so serious. So what the New Year Better Me Planner does is it helps you break down those goals step by step. So it's a personal development planner. And what it has is each and every month, you write your goals down and it's not about the bigger picture because the bigger picture ends up coming in at the end. It's about you breaking your goals bit by bit, step by step, and you write them down monthly. And then on top of that, I also have a notebook, which I use. It's just a plain notebook. And I write to-do lists every day, and it helps me stay on track. It really helps me achieve what I have to achieve. And if I'm being honest, this one's empty. This is not my personal one, but I have a personal one. And sometimes you look, so there's my January goals, February, and so on. And sometimes I'll look at my goals, and I'll look at my list, and there's X's and X's and X's, meaning that, I really haven't done that much this month. However, having them written down allows you to be like, well, actually, maybe I didn't do that much this month, but this is what I'm grateful for, and this is what I can improve on. So at the end of every single month, there's a reflection page, and what the reflection page does is, for example, this is the July reflection. So this is a page for you to reflect on how your month has been. So at the end of every month, you have a quote of the month. The quote for July says, "Don't let yesterday take up too much of today." So you have things you need to work on and things you need to improve for next month. And you also have a time to reflect, things you're grateful for. Because sometimes when we downplay our achievements, we can forget the really simple things that that we should be grateful for. So next, I'm going to talk to you a bit about Thrive Media. So I mentioned before that I'm the founder of Thrive Media, and what Thrive Media is it is a media distribution company that I just founded. And what it works on is distributing positive media, and that just means literally sharing positive news, stories, etc. Because in this day and age, especially in this era right now, media literally makes and breaks relationships. Everything is so fragile, and people are, divided everywhere. So what I do with Thrive Media is I have Thrive Magazine. I also have Talk with Toya. So these are just some of my models at the front holding my magazines. I don't have actual copies, but what I do is I go around and I interview young people like myself. I've had the privilege to interview young authors, young models, other young entrepreneurs, influencers, young photographers. And what it is it's about them telling their story, giving them a platform and an opportunity to tell their story, to give them the credit they deserve, and also to inspire people like you and have that knock-on effect. So with Thrive Media, we also have a network of young people where we do a lot of networking events, a lot of launches. And what I've seen as a young entrepreneur based in Liverpool, specifically myself, is that a lot of the networking events and opportunities for young people are down south in London, especially in Canary Wharf. You've got so many networking events around there. And a lot of the times when I go to other networking events, I have to travel. So Thrive Media is about bringing it here and giving you an opportunity to also meet people who are more experienced, people who can mentor you and meet like-minded people. So we do have a network for that, and if you're interested, then you can come and see me at the end if you want to be a part of that. And then quick about Tay's Eye Skincare and Cosmetics. So I did touch a bit about this. This is my skincare store in Liverpool. So for students, we actually do work experience programs. So if you want to have work experience, we do this really great program. We go through, it's not just about shopkeeping, it's also about, sales, marketing, business skills, inventory, etc. We also have an ambassador program where you can earn commission. So you can, purchase stuff in bulk and you can sell them and make commission from that. And then we also have modeling opportunities. I'm constantly looking for models for, everything basically. I have a lot of businesses. So if that's something you're interested in, whether it's I do soft glam, I do hair, so I need soft glam models, hair models, just skincare models for my magazine. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to start your journey with that, then you can also come see me at the end. And this is how you can stay connected with me. So my Instagram, there's my main Instagram, my business Instagram planner, and they're just all my socials. I will just leave that on at the end later. But I just need to whiz to the last message. So this is my final and closing message, is Point number one, your leadership isn't about titles. So I know I asked you at the start, is leadership about your title, your influence? It's not about the titles, the connections, the experiences, and who you are. It's about your impact and your influence. Point number two, you're never too young to start, and you should never start without feeling, too ready. You just need to start. You're doing a disservice to yourself if you keep waiting to start when you're ready. And point three, you should gravitate more focus towards your strengths over your weaknesses. Obviously, we all have weaknesses, and sometimes it's good to look at those as well and reflect and improve. But if you spend too much time holding yourself back because you're looking at those weaknesses over your strengths, then again, you're doing yourself a disservice. And the last thing I want you to think about and ask yourself is, as you leave, what's one thing I'm going to start after today? What's one initiative or what's one action that you can take today? So thank you very much for listening. And I just want you to know, and I wanted to show you what I do to let you know that you can do it too. Because if I've done it, and if I'm only 19 and you're 17, 18, 19 as well, it's very, very possible for you to do it too. If I work with people and share the stories of people who are 15, 14, younger than you guys, younger than myself, and they're doing far better than what I'm doing, then it's very, very realistic for you to do it too. So thank you so much.